Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at the Zero Conference, both here and virtually from home. My name is Ravit Turjeman. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of ReelAbilities. ReelAbilities is the premier organization globally that harnesses film to foster change both on-screen and off-screen. I'm here with Christopher Patnoe at Google. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Well, again, my name is Christopher. I guess my title is Head of EMEA Accessibility and Disability Inclusion, which means my focus is Africa, it's the Middle East, it's Europe, and trying to bring the needs of the community into Google so you can understand how to make our products and our platforms and services more accessible and support more people.
Thank you. So we're here to speak about beyond policy, driving meaningful cultural change at work. ReelAbilities over the years, beyond having a film festival that runs in 15 cities throughout North America, a streaming platform, industry summit, and many other programs, educational programs, and so on and so forth. We also operate a program that is called ReelAbilities at the Workplace. ReelAbilities at the Workplace really takes these films and bring them into the workplace where people are, and really trying to harness this powerful impact of film to create awareness, promote a greater inclusion in the workplace. I would like to start by just showing a little example of one of the films that we are sometimes presenting as part of ReelAbilities at the Workplace. It's the trailer of a film called Working Differently from Screens Scotland. It specifically discusses topics of neurodivergence at the workplace and specifically in the film industry. If you can take a look at this film, please.
I'd never heard of the term neurodivergence.
Neurodivergence is still something I'm getting used to despite being a person who is neurodivergent.
It's a wonderful kaleidoscopic technical abomination of many, many things going on and no one having the same opinion twice.
It would be lovely to see more people be open-minded about how you work, how you process information.
I think every case is different.
Everyone presents really, really differently. People with the same neurodivergence can be totally different from each other, and people with two different types of neurodivergence can be quite similar in the ways that they work.
It's really hard to do a one-size-fits-all solution for the workplace if you're neurodivergent.
When you meet someone where they're at and you ask them what you need, you're laying the groundwork for them to bring their absolute best self, their most authentic self, their most creative self. You're allowing them to unleash their whole potential.
Once kind of it's talked about, people are much more open.
If we can talk about it and break that ice.
I think any change which makes somewhere more inclusive, more patient, is better for every human being.
I want people to feel empowered to start today. There's sort of no reason not to.
Thank you. So I would like to just start by sharing something that I saw this morning on the way here on LinkedIn. It's a post by Emily Ladau. Emily, she's a disability rights activist and author, and she posted on her profile saying a harsh reality. People can legislate attitudes towards disability. I'm sorry, I completely confused it. Okay, yeah. People can create policies, but we cannot legislate attitudes towards disability. So this is really, I feel, where ReelAbilities and ReelAbilities at the Workplace and all of our other programs come in. And Google actually has been a partner of ReelAbilities for some time now and hosted ReelAbilities at the Workplace for your training and the audience, employees' engagement activities. Would you mind sharing a little bit on some of the creative ways that you're applying in addition or with ReelAbilities at the workplace at Google?
Yeah, I think one of the most important things you need to realize is that different people are motivated by different things. So you need to be creative in terms of your connection to people. Some people are motivated by intellectual things. Other people are motivated by the heart. So creativity and storytelling is critical for you to have the impact that you want, to move your employees, to move your community towards something that is more universal. Film, and that's one of the things that's so wonderful about the work with ReelAbilities, film is a great way to connect the hearts and the mind. You tell a story of a person that you can identify with, or you introduce someone's story that you've never heard of or thought of, and you have a real emotional connection to these things that make a difference towards your culture in terms of your community, inside the culture, towards your community of people with disabilities. Film is magic in terms of this kind of way, and you really provide that opportunity with this being creative to connect a person to something that they may not understand. I learned about disability because my product wasn't accessible. Other people learned about it because they saw a film, they saw a television show, they met someone on the street. So everyone has a different connection. But bringing this into the workplace means you also need to foster trust, and having common experiences helps provide that trust because it gives you a common language. And that's one of the wonderful things about films. It creates a language that allows people to communicate better.
That's exactly, I always say that, people have workshops and trainings and lectures, etc. But really the film creates this aha moment. That's where everything is reducing to that moment where you are sitting in front of the screen and you actually see people that might not have the exact same experience as you, but you can relate to, you can understand. Film removes this type of otherness. When you don't know something, when you don't know enough about a topic or interact with people with different experiences, there is this fear, there is inability or unfamiliarity to approach them, and really film creates that switch where people are more inclined to share with their colleagues about their needs, about the accommodation that they can really use at work in order to perform their best self. And we've seen that also employers actually. We are serving all the organizations that are participating in this program, and we've seen some real tangible impact. One of our longtime partners as well is a global financial or finances company, and they basically, based on their interaction and collaboration with ReelAbilities, set up a whole department that basically increased the number of employees with disabilities into their early career access programs.
The neat thing about using film as a medium instead of a lecture or a PowerPoint is that ability to expose someone so it makes it less scary. If you're afraid of making a mistake, and we're always afraid of making a mistake, having someone tell us the language that we can use makes it less scary. It becomes less of a tick box exercise, and in terms of a thing that we actually want to accomplish as opposed to just be done with.
Exactly. And I think that goes to say a lot about the leadership also at Google and other organizations that harness the power of creative storytelling to make this change in their workplace. Can you share with me a little bit more about, with all of us, a little bit more about the decision making on the leadership level as to making a point of creating these spaces for conversation, for awareness raising?
It's an interesting chicken and egg problem. You need to have a safe space to be able to want to share this personal thing about you. But leaders are just people. We tend to forget that leaders are people themselves as well, and they want to have a safe space where they can share their aspects of themselves that may not be something that's traditionally discussed. So through a film, you create an environment where you can have these conversations, and leaders can share these aspects of themselves. I'm dyslexic, but I didn't realize I was dyslexic until my mid-40s. I just thought I was bad at things. I didn't realize, because I had this belief in my head that dyslexia meant this. Like words were supposed to be spinning on the page and stuff like that. That wasn't my experience. I was just rubbish at spelling and understanding lists and data and stuff like that. But when I became open to dyslexia as a broader spectrum of data processing, all of a sudden all these things fell into place. But because inside Google we have an environment where we are more encouraged to share, and we have leaders walking the walk, not just talking the talk. People saying, "This is my world, and this is how you work with me. Here's my bio. Here's how to talk to me. Here's how to communicate with me. Here's how to expect, or here's what to expect." So these films provide an opportunity for people to have that, like I said, the language, but the language creates an environment. And when you have an environment, then you have the ability to make a change in terms of expressing yourself or empowering someone else to express themselves. Whether you're a software engineer on the ground or a senior director with RSI issues, we're all people. And film stories bring people to the front.
Amen. And really, sometimes it's such a small change that is required. In this film, Working Differently, there is an example of a filmmaker that all they needed was to print their roles or their tasks on a different color of paper in order to be able to better read through and concentrate and understand the task and remember it. So it's really these tiny changes that are necessary that without the awareness, they seem like so big and expensive and like impossible to do, but they're actually very simple.
I think awareness allows us to be curious. I think curiosity is an important part of this kind of environment. If you can't be curious, you can't listen. And then it takes the intention to do something about it. So, it becomes a virtuous circle. You're curious, so you listen so you act. But then you have to listen again. Are we actually having the benefit that we want in this space? Yep. So you create this environment through stories to create openness. Through openness, you create intention. Through intention, you create change.
And this really goes to everyone in the workplace, right?
Yes.
It's not about people who are identified as disabled or not. It's about creating an environment that allows everyone to flourish and become their best self. It relates to this, and I hate this term, reasonable accommodation. In the US, we have this form that HR often practices and uses when they're onboarding a new employee. And I could not, for the life of me, put this in our organization. There's no such thing as reasonable accommodation. It's accommodation, period. And once you learn about people's needs or preferences on how they can become their best self in the workplace, it's so easy to just help provide it.
But I think that's why storytelling is such an important medium for changing culture. Because if you only worry about the tick box effect, are we giving you what you're legally required to only, then you have reasonable accommodation. If you bring the human back into the conversation, now you're trying to help them thrive and be their best and do their best and provide the most to your organization. It's a subtle difference, but that intentionality to attack the problems of the person as opposed to attacking the person makes a big difference.
I couldn't agree more. I would just like to, as we are running out of time, invite people to learn more about ReelAbilities and ReelAbilities at the workplace. If you don't mind queuing up that slide with a QR code, if anyone wants to visit our website. I'm going to be here at the conference as well, and you're all welcome to reach out and say hi. ReelAbilities also is about to launch its 17th edition in New York. We're having our flagship festival coming up April 3rd. I hope you can join us. The industry summit is also available virtually and globally, so please visit ReelAbilities.org and learn about what we do and join us, join the movement. Thank you so much, Christopher.
Thank you very much.